Hey folks, it's Derek again. Yeah, I got the same black sweater I had on in the last two videos. Wore it to work again today. Not the same shirt. It's kind of like a uniform almost, as a mental health. Anyway, um, decided I would make another video because I really enjoy this. And one of the things I wonder about you guys. I enjoy thinking about the video. It's like, well, what am I going to show? I did a couple of not genre, but particular artist videos, which I probably won't do again for a while because I personally more enjoy just pulling out a range of things. And so today is going to be called a spectrum of sound. I just pulled some favorites but I'll start off with a vinyl update. What did I just buy in the last few days? Picked this up, Devo. Which one is this? Couldn't even see New Traditionalists. We're through being cool. That's on here. I love it. I love Devo. This was it's beat, but it's an original, and I got this today. The Heliocentric Worlds of Sun Ra on the ESP. It's not that bad a condition, and I didn't pay a whole lot for it. But boy, was this a surprise because my guy at the store pulls it up from behind the counter. Would you be interested in this? I picked up some cheapos again at the March Madness Monday sale yesterday. Jan Hammer Melodies, Jan Hammer Group. They're starting to lose it, in my opinion, here, where they're trying to be more commercial. So there's the singing, but Jan Hammer has a way with melodies, and the songs in here are beautiful. Jeff and I were talking about this record because I've owned it before, and then I found another copy of it. Because I owned it before because I loved the cover, but I couldn't get into it. It just didn't have what I was listening for. This guy was in the band, the Alan Bound. He's been in some other bands. I can't think of who all, but Andy Bound, Gone to My Head. I just love this illustration. I love this cover. And I listened to it last night, and okay, I get it now. It's like a kind of a somewhere between the Small Faces and something a little more R&B and pop. There's a couple of okay songs. The main thing about it is the cover. I grabbed this because it was just $1. Buddy Rich and Ala Rocka, and this is good. It's a percussion face-off between Buddy Rich and this tabla master, and it's not cheesy like the cover. Actually, I like the cover. So I found that yesterday. That was a nice find. Was really happy to get this. I have one of his other albums, and I picked this up. Alain Marcus Feld, Le Desert Noir. Used to own this album. I know they say that a lot, but it's true, and I'm sure it's true for some of the other folks where you acquire and then you get rid of. But there's that wonderful gem sticker on the back. It's on the Egg label, but it's a French guitarist. Pretty unique sound. Was glad to get this back. A couple more things. I picked up a better copy of this Keith Jarrett. What is it called? Death and the Flower. This is a really nice album with Dewey Redman, Charlie Hayden. Really fine, and I've had this forever, but was able to pick up the record is in mint condition for $1. And I also picked up one more Keith Jarrett. This is with Jan Garbarek, Luminescence. It's an orchestral piece by Keith Jarrett. He doesn't play. So those are my latest finds that I picked up so far this week. The records I want to show you for my spectrum of sound, we're going to start with a Chicago band called The Sea and Cake. This is their album called Everybody. And there's, let's see, John McIntyre from Tortoise is on here. And Sam Prekop, he does some other things, plays with some other people. But I really like, Tortoise. If I got that right. This is a sweet, sweet album. Really, really sweet. Don't know how to describe it at the moment. Just really good. Going into some jazz, this is another high recommendation from Dereck now, okay? This is, in my opinion, one of the great jazz albums that I have in my collection. George Russell, Electronic Sonata for Souls Loved by Nature. This is freaking intense. This is awesome. And I just need to tell you also who's on here. Jan Garbarek, Manfred Schuf, Terry Ripdahl, John Christensen. You hear those guys on numerous ECM records with George Russell and Red Mitchell. This is incredible. This is one of my favorite jazz records, period. This is just excellent. I love the United Dairies label. It's hard to find the stuff. I have managed to keep a few things, and this is one of them because it's so good. By Diana Rogerson, the Inevitable Crystal Bell Scrod record. And this is just strange. If you've ever heard Danielle Dax or the Lemon Kittens, or maybe the Residents might be another touch point. This is just an odd record, and it's one of those kind of records where you're not quite sure what this lady is up to. It's a little disturbing at times, and it's great. It's a great listen. I think it was Funky Fresh Bro that mentioned to me his love of this trombonist, Gretchen Moncoeur III, and I concur with him. This guy is a monster player. Another in the Actual BYG Actual series, which I have the majority of these albums, and I highly recommend if you don't have any of these titles. You can't go wrong. Well, that's my opinion. Notice how I say it's my opinion because I just want it to be clear that all I'm doing is sharing what I think. You know, I'm no expert. It's just what I love. Yeah, that's all. You know, another ECM record. I love that label. Blue ECM, shouting out to you. ECM is the bomb. Steve Kuhn, Trance. This is beautiful. A pianist. Just the very first song, Trance, the title. I don't have any music going here because what I'm going to try to do is pipe some in when I edit the video. Hopefully I can get a nice low volume of music on here. But this is a beautiful album. Beautifully played. Wonderful, wonderful jazz. Not light, just atmospheric, beautiful. The Cranky label puts out some dope music, and this is one of their best artists, La Bradford. Cranky is a label out of Chicago, and Infinite Groove, I believe is his name, showed a Cranky Magnog. I'd never heard of that group, but I love the cover. I'm definitely going to be trying to find a copy of that. Atmospheric. Long, slow atmospheric pieces. You'll get lost. You'll get lost. Os Mutantes from Brazil, the Brazilian Beatles, as it were. Their records are wild and all over the place and very eclectic. I believe this is their first album, and the Batista brothers were only teenagers at the time they made this. I think Rita Lee was too. It's amazing their creativity and the balls they had considering the political climate at the time. Got to see Os Mutantes last year and hang out with Sergio, the guitarist, one of the original members that's still with them. Fabulous guy. And he showed me his guitar that he made and all these gadgets. Fantastic. Enjoy some Os Mutantes. The Pastels. We talk about indie pop. Pastels. It's like these guys, when they started the band, could barely play, probably didn't even know how to tune, but boy, did they come up with some tunes as well as atmosphere. One of the things I like about music is when, even if you're not playing it really well, if you just capture a moment in time, Pastels do it. This is a good example of it. This great song. This is a retrospective of theirs. I have one other album. I pulled that one. Out of Focus is a German band. We talk about krautrock and German rock. I want to call your attention to this band, Out of Focus, because they were, in my opinion, the German version of something like Blood, Sweat, and Tears or Chicago, but even better, even more progressive. This is a posthumous record that was put out that they recorded but didn't release during the time of the band, and it's just great. Kind of jazzy. But rock too. Wanted to show this because I understand that many of us love Robert Wyatt. This is an original copy of his first solo album, The End of an Era. While this isn't necessarily the best listen, I still highly recommend lovers of Robert Wyatt's work to get this because, if anything, this is another insight into his personality. and being recorded so early on, there's some themes on here that you hear from Soft Machine Records. I love the CBS label, the different permutations of it. I was going to bone up on this before starting the video like I like to do. Sometimes what I do to refresh my memory is that before I make a video is I'll go online and just kind of just look things up to make sure my facts. But I bought this record because it's on a subsidiary of Recommended Records run by Chris Cutler of Henry Cow, formerly of Henry Cow and Art Bears. That label can do no wrong if you ask me. Sure enough, I got this, and it was something that I had to come back to to really fully digest. There's a lot of sound exploration going on here, as well as songwriting. It's very intricate and really a wonderful headphone trip. If you like music on headphones, that's one. Just a few more here. Solo album by Lars Holmer from Sweden. He was in the band Zamla Mamas Mana, who are considered the godfathers of Swedish prog. They were a very interesting band in that they were progressive, but they also had a lot of folk influences in the music. And Vill du höra mer? I think this is something about the sea. This has a lot of folky tendencies in it, accordion playing and stuff. It's really, really good, really fresh. An English folk band who I think are kind of collectible, Dando Shaft. This is an original copy on the Neon label. Another label I love. I'll pull it out in a second to show you. But this is a wonderful album of folk music, English folk rock. Waves Upon the Ether comes to mind right away. And I forget song titles really bad, but that song is so good. That came right back to me. This is what the label looks like. RCA Neon. And then on this side, the regular RCA. These are pretty collectible. I've only got a few on this label, so if you ever see it and it's reasonable, you grab it. The last thing I want to show is a West Coast band. No, I've got two more here. Okay, yeah. This is the second to last one. I wanted to show this because it's a great band, but the packaging on this is just incredible. The Bees Made Honey in the Lion's Skull by Earth. I've had this for a while. And Southern Lord, their label, just really knows how to package stuff. It's upside down. Here we go. I mean, this is just... Dan from Canada showed his copy a while back, and I waited a while because I wanted to show mine because it's just dope. Double record. And the great thing about this is that it's not just the package. This band is awesome. Very influential. They have a new one out. I don't have it yet. It's on the list. Last thing I want to show is the incredible drummer from Africa, Tony Allen. No Accommodation for Lagos. He played with Fela for many, many years. This guy is an amazing rhythmist. What he can do with rhythm, the way he can break rhythm up is like I've never heard anybody do. Jackie Liebezeit of Can is obviously an acolyte of this guy. But if you'd like to hear Jackie Liebezeit on 10, Tony Allen, I kid you not, this man's drumming is amazing. That's what I got for today. Please leave comments. I want to again shout out to everyone. I want to say, like my friend Jeff, it's really important to me as well as it is to him how civil and respectful this forum is, or this group is, and I want to do my part to continue to feed that flame and that fire, that consciousness of this is something unique, special, and wonderful, and the idea of extending a vibration and message of love and acceptance to everyone that comes here. As you can see, my taste is pretty eclectic and obscure, but it's not in opposition to someone whose collection and taste is mainstream or something that you don't see in my collection. Music is a reflection of who we are. I want to be accepted, and therefore I do the first thing is I open my mind and my heart to others to be accepting of them. we don't have to agree about things. We just need to accept each other. And that's what I want to see continue to grow here. Thank you. Again, it seems like Mr. Hall of Fame was one of the first people here. I don't know, but it seems like it. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you soon.